Prime Voyager Megatron. Let me tell you, I've never really liked this figure. Even though Transformers Prime is one of my favorite Transformers shows, and Prime Megatron is my favorite iteration of the character, this figure has always left a lot to be desired. Basically, he's all this weird gray plastic, and even though it does have this nice brushed effect to it, it's pretty much entirely unpainted. The head sculpt kind of looks like it's got this weird facial cavity where the teeth should be. Don't even get me started on the weapon. It's totally inaccurate, and it has this effect where the blade comes out with this weird motion, and also it was made out of really cheap clear plastic that has broken in several spots already and is cracking and even more. It's awful. Not to mention, it's got this really big backpack that feels entirely unnecessary. And this right there is cracking. That's been cracking for years. I don't know why this stuff couldn't just go in the middle. Like, why couldn't it just fold in the middle like another one we're going to see? Yeah, this figure has always been an anomaly. It can't even move the elbows side to side. It just has like a ball joint at the shoulder. The shoulder pads kind of float above the shoulders too, so that also makes it a little awkward. It's just a weird figure, man, and it's never been a very satisfying figure. Let me show you, just for instance. So I love Transformers Prime. I've got all the figures. So let's put some of his Decepticon buds with him. So there he is with Shockwave. Fun fact, Shockwave should not be taller than Megatron. In fact, he should be about a head shorter than Megatron. So that's already an oopsie. And I wouldn't say that Shockwave should be smaller. No, I think he's an awesome size. First edition Starscream, I feel like, again, he's kind of big next to Megatron. Starscream is kind of a small boy. Love that Starscream, by the way. And one of my very first Prime figures, Soundwave. He's one of the only ones where I feel like he kind of looks decent with this Megatron. I love how he's the wings in his face. Because this Starscream, as cool as he is, he doesn't like standing on his own. And then Soundwave, yeah, Soundwave looks pretty good. But overall, man, it's like we got some really nice figures and then that stinker of a Megatron right in the middle. What if I told you that... Come on, Starscream, come on. I know you're clingy, but don't be that clingy. What if I told you that there has existed an alternative for a couple years, and I only now got around to getting it? That looks a little better, doesn't it? I would say so. So, here we have the APC Toys Megatron. Or in other words, where's the box? Or in other words, he is the Dark Master. It's kind of goofy. It's got some fun artwork on it. He's actually encased in foam, too, which is pretty cool. Yeah, it's a knockoff. It is not an official figure. So, why do I call this knockoff as great as it is? Well, let me tell you. Because it's not just a third-party figure, it's not just a knockoff. Look at how great he looks with that Shockwave. Oh my gosh, I've waited so long to finally have Shockwave be shorter than Megatron, as he should be. But the reason why I got this figure, even though I don't like collecting third parties, because this is a knockoff upscale of the first edition Deluxe Megatron, a Megatron that I've never gotten, that I've wanted for quite some time. And I gotta say, I don't know why they didn't just upscale the first edition for the Robots in Disguise line in the first place, because this figure does a lot of things a lot better. First of all, those wings that were sticking off the Voyager, yeah, it's in the middle here, and it actually looks really nice. Here, let's just bring in that Voyager, so you can really see. There's quite a size difference, quite a paint difference, quite a cannon difference, quite an everything difference. This is Transformers Prime Megatron right here. This is what I've wanted for 10 years, and I hate that I waited about 2 years to buy it. Every time I saw it was like $60-something, and I finally found it for less than $50, and I was like, yeah, let's go for it. This one I still like. I'm not going to get rid of it. I mean, it was one of my first Megatrons I ever got. However, this one is the one that I always wanted, and it is stellar. So the only modification I've had to make to it is putting a Decepticon symbol right in the middle of his chest. I think I got it off by 1 or 2 degrees. I'm sorry if you are OCD, I am not. So another comparison I just want to make before I even get into the details. Another thing I've always wanted too was a Megatron that was taller than first edition Optimus Prime. Because again, that Voyager Megs was so short, he was shorter than Optimus, and he should be taller. Now, I do have to say, I think he's a little too tall compared to First Edition Optimus. First Edition Optimus, or I should say Optimus, should be about a head shorter than Megatron. This is like a head and a half to 2 heads shorter than Megatron. It's not that big of a difference. Once you get them posed together, you don't really notice it. But I do have to say it's a better scale than than Megatron being literally shorter than Optimus Prime, because that is entirely inaccurate. I remember when Megatron arrived at the Autobot base, when Megatron and Optimus were having a bit of a stare down, like, Megatron is taller than Optimus. One thing I gotta do, though, before I even get into the details of the figure, you just gotta see this. You gotta see this. You gotta see it. You gotta see it. We gotta see it. We all collectively have to see this, because I've wanted to do this with a nice, taller than Optimus Megatron for years. Oh, yeah, there we go. There we go. They're fighting Unicron. Oh, man, I love it so much. I kind of wish the First Edition Optimus was a little shinier. Probably should get the APC toy version of this figure as well, but I love this Optimus enough. I think I might end up doing that at some point. But for now, I've got him with the APC Nemesis Prime cannons, so he's at least got 2 cannons on the go finally. Ah, man. It's just so nice to finally have a nice big Megatron. So why do I love this thing so much? I've been talking about it for so long, I haven't even gotten into it. So he's shiny. I don't know if you noticed that. He's pretty shiny. Another thing, too, he's got a really nice cannon. I do believe it's supposed to light up because it has a switch, but I didn't put batteries in it. I'm sure it just lights up at the tip, and it's really cool, but I didn't do that. Another thing, too, he's got really nice blades. I think it's so cool that he comes with the blades. And yes, I said blades, because you actually get 2. So I'm currently rewatching Transformers Prime, but I have not... I don't recall off the top of my head him using 2 arm blades, but I feel like he did at some point. Nonetheless, I'm not going to complain getting an extra arm blade. I just think it's really cool. So getting that off. And I do believe it is the same port size as standard Transformers. Another thing he comes with, Dark Star Saber. This is sweet. I've never had a plastic representation of the Dark Star Saber. And even though I'm pretty sure he had a different arm to wield this, because he needed, like, the hand of a Prime, I'm pretty sure, to wield something like this, it's still really cool you get it. It looks really sweet. He might have ended up switching his arm and still being able to wield this. Again, I'm currently rewatching the show. I can't really tell you. It does come with this holster right here, which is really nice. How this attaches. The hole where his head will go in the vehicle mode, you just kind of put that in there. I'm not going to put it in all the way, but you put it in, and it's in there pretty solid. Then you can just slide the saber on. He actually holds the saber in a really interesting way. So you take off the tip of it. You just yank that off a little bit, and then put it into his hand. He's got a bit of a tab over his fingers. So you can just slide it into his hand. You get a solid grip. Then you put that tip back on. And voila, just about, there we go. Voila, there's Megatron with the Dark Star Saber in his metallic, massive glory. Man, this is the Lord of the Decepticons right here. I love in Transformers Prime, they don't call him, like, you know, Sir or anything. They call him my Lord. He's Lord Megatron. Ah, dude, I love this figure so much. So, the articulation's also really nice. It's a lot nicer than the other one. He's got a ball joint at the head, so you get some nice motion and everything there. The shoulders are actually on these hinges for the transformation, but they're also on hinges for that. It's kind of tight. The tolerances are a little tight. You can also get them on butterflies, too. They also kind of go back a little bit for the transformation, but I do feel like that's a kind of important point of articulation. You can move the little shoulder spike. His elbow is on a single bend, but he also has an additional hinge for the articulation, and I would say you can count that as a double elbow. Doesn't look awkward, doesn't look weird. I think that's a double elbow right there. His torso, unfortunately, doesn't have anything for the transformation, because his hips are on a hinge, or his waist is on a hinge. But he does have universal joints at the hips, swivels at above the knee, and a bend at the knee, and his toes, just like normal, Prime Megatron. You can just move him up and down. His wrists are also on swivels too, which is nice. So yeah, his articulation's really great. He looks really great. He is just overall the Megatron of my dreams. I love him. He is so nice. But I do have to say, because he is a knockoff, the plastic tolerances are not up to par with Hasbro's standard. So trying to, let's just say, transform this guy is a little bit of a pain. I'm going to do it here for you, but I'm not going to have the most fun time. It's not that bad, honestly. It could be a lot worse. But the transformation's just a little... The joints are just really tight. And I mean, sometimes that's not a bad thing because it means he's nice and stable. I mean, look, he's not moving a muscle. There's not a single floppy bit on him. However, it's just, especially the shoulders are just so tight. Sometimes it's just hard to work with. So, let's bust him up and get him into his weird Cybertronian jet. So, let's just say the first thing I like doing is imploding him. So, he has this really cool feature where when you take the chest apart, it kind of unlocks his back, because he's got these little tabs right up there that when you squeeze the chest, they kind of latch onto those and they keep his back together. So that's a really cool feature right there. Let's just get this all the way up so I can do this more freely. All right, what next? What next? This, I think this hinges up, right? Ah, man. This is going to be fun, guys. I swear it's going to be fun. Let's move his chest a little out of the way. And then let's move his arms down. And let's move his little side things out to the side a bit. And I feel like the plastic, like, it's good quality. I just feel like the hinges are so tight. I'm kind of scared of the plastic giving out before the hinge wants to move. It's not like I'm deathly afraid of it. It's not like I'm scared to move this thing a single muscle, but it's a little inconvenient, shall we say. So these will kind of slot in like that. And then the arms, interestingly, they'll kind of fold all the way in onto themselves. And I feel like there's a bit of clearance issues. And I actually watched a review of the first edition Deluxe. I think I watched it from Vangelis, good old Vangelis. And he was having similar issues with the first edition Deluxe, where it just kind of has clearance issues trying to get it fully transformed. Like, I feel like the hands are just colliding with those panels right there, and it's just not cooperating, you know? I feel like things are just in the way of each other. Maybe if I hinge the shoulder up as far as I can. Oh, it already is. Nice. I'm getting so sweaty doing this. My studio lights are burning me up. So the arms are the trickiest part in my experience, because I struggle so much to get them lined up how they want. Because it's like, yeah, the arms, I know how they're supposed to go, but I just feel like things aren't lining up, and I don't want to snap his fingers off trying to get him transformed. I got it successfully one time. I'm hoping I can get it again. We'll see. Give me a moment. Okay, so the trick is you want the hands on the outside of those little clasps that keep the back on in robot mode. And then we'll just connect the arms together, which, because the tab is painted silver, it's a little tight. Alrighty, with his back done, we can start to make some moves and get that piece in right there. And then there's these little tabs on the side where the canopy that covers his head will slot in. And that's pretty much the back half done. And then from the waist down, this is very similar to the Voyager. So we'll move the feet, get those collapsed. And then this is another thing where the original first edition Deluxe had clearance issues, and this figure is no different. The clearance issues on the wings, on the legs. Ah, man, I was worried I was going to break the thing. So basically, the wings kind of unclip from the foot in a way. And, geez, man. I feel like I'm flexing plastic that I shouldn't be flexing. All right, there we go. So the wing's out. I'm definitely going to end up scuffing a little bit of paint somewhere. Wing's out. Get the little tip of the wing out as well. Alrighty, so that's one wing out. I'll save you the trouble of the other one. Alrighty, so with the wings out, we want to then take the waist assembly and flip it inside the back of the body. And then here we can finish the front. So we'll take the front waist section. You gotta have the chest oriented just right for the clearance. Take that, move it up, and then move kind of, I've always kind of seen him as like a big middle lobster claw for whatever reason. It's like he's got this big lobster claw right in the middle of the jet. But then we take the legs, shift them over just like this, and then there's several points they'll tab. So bend to the knee just a little bit. So firstly, the leg will tab into the arm right there, and then it'll tab into the backpack right there, and then the wing will slot in right there, and then just close up the foot. And then second time is the same as the first time. We'll peg in the leg right there at the shoulder, peg it in right there to the backpack, and slot the wing in, fold in the foot, and there we go. It was a bit finicky, it was a bit tight with the joints, but it's doable. It's not the biggest pain in the world. We got there. There is Transformers Prime Megatron in his jet mode. And I do have to say, this is very, very well done. It looks glorious. It looks just like it does in the show. Now, granted, it does have a few limitations, like, oh, crap. Yikes, let's not do that. It does have a few limitations, like it does have the shoulder pads that's kind of sticking out there. I do think I see what they're doing with the Voyager, because I think they're more like on the side. They kind of get out of the way. But still, I mean, it rests pretty fine on the desk, and it looks good. Looks the part. I really do like how the backs of the elbows kind of form the thrusters. I think that looks really good. Overall, man, this is Transformers Prime Megatron. I don't believe there's much of a way to get the blade in the center, because I'm pretty sure he did that in the show, but I don't think there's a way to pull that off. Because didn't he do this? I'm pretty sure he did that, right? Didn't he do that? Unless I'm mistaken. Again, I'm currently rewatching this show. I'm not sure off the top of my head. That'd be really cool, though, if you could get the blade in right there. But still, man, I love this figure. It's so nice. I mean, it's my second favorite Megatron, pretty much. This is my favorite iteration of Megatron, and this is my favorite figure of my favorite iteration of Megatron, so yeah, it's going to be up there for me. Overall, I really like it. Do I recommend it if you're a Transformers Prime fan? Absolutely. APC Toys is pretty much making the Transformers Prime figures we should have gotten in the first place. I wish they would have continued first edition, because the stuff that APC is giving us is the stuff, like I said, we should have gotten all along. They've redone RC and given her extra accessories. They're doing the same for Bulkhead. They've completely reinvented Arachnid, and I have that coming in the mail. And don't worry, I will make a video, because I've never talked about the original Prime Arachnid and how absolutely horrible it is. But don't worry, that day will come very shortly. I really hope they redo some others too. I think Ratchet could use an upgrade. Overall, though, this Megatron, this is leagues and bounds better than the Voyager, and I think this is the Prime Megatron to get. It's not super expensive either. Like I said, I got this thing for under $50, including shipping. So yeah, go and get yourself an APC Toys, what was it called, Dark Master, something like that. It's worth it. It's nice. I really like this figure. Alrighty guys, there we go. There is the APC Toys Dark Master. Let me just get him on the desk there. Yeah, man, that's Prime Megs. I dig it. I kind of like how it's tilted up, too, on the desk. Alrighty, there we go. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Let me know what you think of this. Also, let me know what you think of these knockoff companies taking existing figures and improving them. It's been a recent trend that I've really been enjoying. Special shout out to the patrons at Patreon as well. Thank you guys so much for the continued support. I always appreciate it. Alrighty, guys, there we go. Have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.